Filter.
Is that a replaceable filter? You just replace that?
These can be replaced, yep.
How do you wash it?
I would wash it first until it becomes, destroyed to the point that it can't be washed anymore, and then replace it. But basically, that just goes right in here. I don't know if you can see that, but
It's all on the other end, actually. The metal ones.
like
Like a mesh metal.
yeah. Those usually less exposed to chemicals. Those usually can be washed for many times. These are probably not quite as many.
Yeah.
But this material is available. You can purchase it all pre-cut and everything. It also is available in different types of media. If you wanted, a HEPA filter, you can buy this size with the different, different porosity. Okay. Anyway, there's your filter. Simple. Pull the plastic off, put the plastic on. This may or may not be filtered. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. Again, you can probably get a little better look here. Just little finger grips there. There's your filter. Snap it back on. Okay. On the door here, run light, fault light, thermal light, control power on light, handoff auto we talked about. Okay, we'll demonstrate that once we put power on. Your operators, this is your start, your manual start, your manual stop. This is your thermal reset. This is your e-stop. Okay, switch lock. Okay. Okay, apply power. Okay, showing the thermal alarm. Control power is on. Okay, we're showing a thermal alarm. Not sure why. The motor may not have one, it may not be wired, or it may actually have an alarm. My guess is that it's probably not wired. Something to be resolved at some point. Okay. This display is what you would normally see. Under normal circumstances, you'll come by and you'll see 3 lines. Top line is your speed in hertz, middle line is your amps in amps, and the bottom line is your bus volts. Nominal is anywhere from 650 to 700. Right now we're at 698 volts. That'll drop a little bit once we start running, but that's within the ballpark. If you see it at 200 or 300 volts, you have a problem. So better be 600 or better. Hour meter, basically that's hour of run time, not hours of power applied. Okay. If the e-stop is depressed, you'll notice my screen up here changed to not enabled. Okay. So if you ever come down here, you're calling for the pump to run, it don't run, it says not enabled. Turn that off. There may also be some of these in the field, in series with this, quite possibly. Usually when you see e-stops, there's more than one. But just keep in mind, whenever you see not enabled, that's an e-stop. Okay? Whether oh, that's what I wanted. No sale though. Under normal conditions, when you're in the off position, this middle of the display will say stop inserted. Okay, and not enabled. Stop inserted. I go to the hand mode. Okay, the start button, it comes up to speed. Hit the stop button, it stops. I don't know if can you catch that? Okay. Alright. Now to control the speed, use these up-down arrows. Okay. Right now I'm bringing the speed down. You'll notice the display said commanded. When I let go, it'll actually go to my actual speed. So now if I start this, okay, there's a minimum in there of 15. So it's always going to go to 15. Even though I've commanded it less than 15, it's still going to go to the minimum. Once I exceed 15, it will now go up to there. You'll notice I'm at 20.4. Okay? If I hit the stop, it'll stop. Okay?
And if you restart it, what's it look like?
It'll come back to whatever
Where it was?
it was last.
Oh, okay. Oh, to keep it pretty steady.
Yeah.
As long as it's above 50.
That is, however, programmable. Okay, the default in the drive basically is to go back to the last number. However, you can make it go to 0 if you want, but the default says go back to the last speed, whatever it was. Okay. Pretty much that's what most people want, because kind of they get a setting that they like, they leave it there, and next time they go to hand, they don't want to have to mess with it. Okay, but it is possible to have it go to 0 whenever power is removed. It's just not, this one's not set up that way. Okay. In the off position, you can hit all the buttons. Nothing, it's off. Nothing's gonna happen. If I go to auto, my command is coming from the SCADA system. Okay. So in other words, there's a computer up in the main control room that's going to tell it, or over there, that will tell this to stop and start. So whenever you're in auto, you really don't have any control here.
You get programmed from the SCADA system.
Yeah. Now, just so you know, the SCADA system happens to be on Ethernet, okay, which is this piece of blue cable here. It's actually coming into a board that's mounted inside here, and these are the indicator lights of the health of that Ethernet network. This would be the normal condition. 3 solid green lights, flashing green light, one of that big. Okay. Also, you'll notice an indicator light here. Okay, right now that's flashing amber. That means that the drive is stopped. But if I was to go over here, flip it into hand, and start it, it goes to a solid green. Okay? If I stop it in hand, it'll be a flashing green. Which means I'm ready to run, but nobody's told me to run. Okay? So those are, green is good, red is bad. Okay? You see red lights anywhere, it ain't good. Alright, now, depending on how these are programmed, when we're in the hand mode, oh, they did good. These keys are disabled. Okay, good. They could be enabled if so desired, but as of right now, they have been disabled. So this is your start to start. Now, my guess though, is that this key is still active. Okay? Now, if I had a dry fault, oh, there's a dry fault. Okay, you notice the dry fault light came on. Display is flashing. F83, port 3 DPI. Okay? That's what the fault is. I can reset from here. Or I can reset from here, or by the way, the fault I'm generating is I'm breaking the network connection between this programmer and the drive, so that comes up as a fault. Okay, the other way to clear this fault is to do this. Again, not my preferred method, but in case of an emergency, if all else fails, this could do it. If the stuff is rising and starting to get deep in here, do whatever you gotta do. Okay?
Run like hell.
Or run like hell. But if this is the pump that can get the water level down, do what you gotta do. And now when we bring the drive back on, you'll notice that the fault has gone away and the drive will be ready to run. Do not panic if you see this display like this. Okay? In 5 minutes, it's going to that anyway. 5 minutes without touching a key brings you back to that display. That's the home. It's gonna, so as long as you don't touch another button, it'll go back to that. So if you see a screen you're not familiar with, go smoke a cigarette, go have a coffee, come back in 5 minutes, screen should be back to where you're familiar. If it's not after 5 minutes, then maybe you do have something wrong, but not likely. Okay, not likely. Okay, as far as programming goes, these blue keys here are all the programming keys. This allows you to navigate throughout the various menus in the drive. Your escape key basically takes you in one level. So once I hit that key, now I've got what I call my main menu. From there I can go to for instance, my parameter group. Now if I hit enter, I can go look at the various parameters within the drive. Okay. For instance, let's go to monitor. And then we'll go to the metering group. And this is, remember I talked about not needing a meter? Well, this for instance is output frequency, 0 hertz. I just started the drive. I'm running at 15. If I wanted to look at the amps, go to output current, hit enter, and let's start the drive. And we're drawing 0.81 amps. Okay? So you really don't need a meter. Okay? Those devices they use for measuring those values within that drive are extremely accurate. Tested them against calibrated equipment, and they're spot on. Okay, they're as close as any piece of secondary measurement equipment you can put on. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, for power on measurement, you really don't. The drive has all the tools you need. You just need to know how to go in and get them. Hit the escape key again. Every time you hit it, it backs you out one level. Okay. Now, I had mentioned earlier that if a drive had failed and you needed to recover it, there was a mechanism to do that. Well, there is. But before I do that, I'm going to have to save the program before I can download it. So I hit my escape key. I go to memory storage group, hit enter. Then I go to HIM copycat, hit enter. And now I'm going to upload my parameters into this programmer. So I'm going to select device to HIM and enter once. It's called PowerFlex 70 EC. Hit enter again, and we're done. Saving of PowerFlex 70 EC to him is complete. I now have a backup copy of the program of that drive in my hand. If that drive fails, I can get it from here back into the drive by doing almost the same steps that I just did. I got a fault. Someone want to reset that? There you go. You get an A for the day. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to go back to memory storage, him copycat, and now instead of going device to him, I'm going to go him to device. Hit enter once. Somebody actually named this. PowerFlex 70 EC. Enter. I'm going to send the active set. I'm going to do a block transfer. Warning, device settings will now change. Press enter. Done. Okay. I just uploaded the program and re-downloaded it. I haven't really done anything, but if that drive had failed and it was a new drive, I would have only done the second part, which would have put the parameters back into it. Okay? So I'm sure you can see the value of that. Instead of having to go through here and say, oh, what was that? You know, there's somewhere in the order of 400 parameters in there. Instead of going through and setting one at a time, a lot quicker to just dump the whole mess right in there. Okay. Yep. There are some alt functions. See this alt key here? And you see these in yellow? For instance, let's say, that's not a good one. Let's say I want to remove this him, but I don't want to generate a phone. I can hit alt, remove. Do you wish to remove it? Yes. Okay. Not allowed. Anybody have an idea why it's not allowed?
It's in auto.
It's where the speed's coming from. So even though I'm in auto, you're right, I thought that's basically, because this is being used as a control source, it will not let me remove it without generating a fault. So even though I tried, it said drive smart enough to know. Okay. There's also an alt view. If you want to look at amps with big numbers, you can. If you don't like that screen, alt view takes you back to the other one. Okay. Any questions? There's also another feature I like a lot is this alt parameter. And now if I want to go to a parameter, I just type in a number and it jumps me right there. Okay. So instead of having to remember where it is, if I know the parameter number, I can just skip around by hitting alt parameter and then typing in the number. I don't know, 89. Alright, that's not a good one. Not a good number. 28. Okay, that is a good one. So I can just, if I know the parameter numbers, I just hit alt parameter and go through. In my case, I have quite a few of them memorized that I know I need. So instead of having to go through all those different keystrokes, I just hit alt parameter.